how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, buddy pal HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd Affiliated. Because of the headgear, I'm having a hard time hearing myself, so I was like looking down like, is the sound thing moving? It's moving. So I think you hear me. I'm pretty sure you hear me. This is our weekly Thursday night show. Wait, did I say this is HeyArcher Live? I'll say it again anyway. This is HeyArcher Live, your weekly Thursday night show, your Thursday night nerdy show, where we sit back, relax. So we sit back, relax, and hopefully by now you pour yourself just a little bit of
more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
and apparently Moonshine. That's the other one we have to start pouring ourselves. I gotta raise this up so I can hear. Gotta hear in the headphones. We have a goat in the house. We have one of the absolute best in the game, one of the best there is, best there ever will be in the house. Great Scott Prop Shop, aka Wes, as far as the government's concerned, in the house to talk all things modding, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Haslab, but also, as the name may imply, Back to the Future, and all other nerd things, whatever it is that this conversation just takes us to. That's where we're going at 88 miles an hour. But if you have a YouTube channel, podcast, blog, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat, support one another, plug your shits. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a fun one as I try to adjust this hat. But without further ado, let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend, Great Scott Prop Shop. Wes, how you doing today? There you go.
Good.
There
Cheers.
Cheers.
Doing great. Yeah, sipping on some shine.
I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna ask this question before, and I was waiting for it because I was like, you know what? I as we were talking, I was like, we should probably talk about this on stream. But you're drinking Moonshine,
Yes.
and I was like, the second you said it, I was like, wait, is Moonshine still illegal? I had no idea.
Well, yes
depends where
and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. I have supported a legal operation that's located in Tennessee, but there are still bootleggers that will make it. And really the only reason it's illegal is because people are selling it under the table and the government can't collect taxes on it. So if you go through the right avenues,
Yeah.
you can sell it legally. So it's not like the potency and all that kind of stuff. It just has to do with, taxes, really.
See, I would have thought it was the potency. I would have thought, because that's what I've seen in movies. It's like,
Yes.
it's too strong. It's going to kill you. It's going to put air in your chest.
Yeah.
It Dukes of Hazzard,
will get your attention. This is 100 proof. So it's
wow.
It's good stuff.
Hold up that sweet jar again. Yeah. I'm assuming it's illegal in Florida to have Moonshine not in a jar, or at the very least transported to your house in a jar.
Well,
it's got to be the move.
I guess if it's not sealed, then yeah. If you put this, if I put the lid on this and just jumped in the car and took off, then technically it's not sealed. So they wouldn't like that very much if you got pulled over.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about just like in terms of street cred. Like they'd be like, wait, they have Moonshine in like a bottle, you're going to jail. Like we're not doing that around here. Yeah, like you wait. Where'd you buy a Moonshine from? Oh, that guy had all his teeth. You're going to jail. Like you can't.
Yeah.
He's got to have the rusted out Chevy. Hasn't bathed in like a week.
Yep. The overalls with no shirt.
Yeah. That's where the Moonshine's got to come from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love that.
That's where the good stuff's coming.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't know this. I was asking you if Moonshine, because it's clear, tastes more like a vodka, and you're saying no, it's more of a whiskey-ish flavor. So.
Yeah, it's essentially whiskey before it goes into the oak barrels to get aged. So it's straight off the still.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they do a lot of things where they add different flavors to it. So not only have I got the stuff that's just regular clear stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
there's stuff that's like apple pie and watermelon and peanut butter and jelly, root beer. So there's a bunch of different. I've even got some Mountain Dew moonshine somewhere. Um, so there's all different
I love
flavors.
that. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Before we dive into everything, we'll say hi to everybody in the chat. We have so many friends, so many busters in the house. Of course, Anthony in the house. He says your Etsy's awesome, and I agree.
Thank you.
I agree. We have Rolando, the Universal Mod, in the house. Good to see you. In case you don't remember, Wes, if you go into any like toy hunter-ish, nerdy live stream, you're probably going to see Rolando in the chat.
Okay.
None of us know how he does it, but like we all have stories of being in some random ass stream that like none of us have ever like plugged or talked about, and being like, what's Rolando doing here? So he's the architect in the Matrix. Was that Matrix Reloaded when it's just but it's Will Ferrell. It's like the MTV spoof. It's Will Ferrell. He's in the room with all the TVs.
All the TVs everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Ergo, Rolando is everywhere. Dave's Dimension in the house. The one who is to blame for getting us down this path of Ghostbusters. Good to see you. Another amazing printer, actually. You guys should definitely talk. Millenniumworkshop in the house. He's going to be on the stream the near future.
Cool.
I don't know if you've seen his work. I'll pull it up as we go on. But he does a lot of Star Wars helmets.
Nice.
You guys definitely...
That takes some time.
Yeah. Who else we got? Everybody saying hi to each other. Rolando says, my first moonshine was from a Yugoslavian moonshine that tasted like black licorice. Not sure if I would like the licorice part.
Okay.
Are you a licorice guy? Like, does this sound good?
I'm not a black licorice guy at all, really. It's if I'm gonna do something that's flavored,
Mm-hmm.
my go-to right now, I think my go-to is the salted caramel moonshine.
Ooh, wow.
Which is really, really good.
Wow, they really do mix up all the flavors. That's great.
Oh, if you can think of it, they have it.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. EC in the house. Good to see you. Look at that. See, Rolando literally is involved in everything. He says, my wife's uncle makes flavored moonshine. That's insane. And he doesn't even live in the South. Rolando's in the somewhere in the Midwest, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Melissa just snuck in
Uh-huh.
and put this at my feet. It's called a Slivovitz, which
Nice.
is, I think Serbian, some kind of, but it's clear, so it could be like moonshine.
That's hilarious. I love that. There she is in the chat. Good to see you. And behind the scenes, making things happen.
That's right.
Just on the moon. Let's see here. I said hi to EC. Yep. Josh, the casual nerd in the house. Good to see you. Everybody saying hi to each other. Love that. Yeah, he's in Utah. There you go. There you go. So before we continue, I think I've said that before, but I'll say it again because I just have those buzz phrases. But I'll give you the floor. Tell these people in case they forgot, in case they're new. Who is Wes? What does he do?
Awesome. Well, I'm Wes, and I am the founder and owner of Great Scott Prop Shop, along with my wife, Melissa. We're 80s nerds, I guess, kids of the 80s. One of my favorite movies growing up was Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, all those classics. So as a kid, I always loved these things, and as an adult, I've got the resources to make the different parts for people to be able to make their own props and mod their own own things.
Mm-hmm.
So I love techie things, and even before 3D printing came out, I was making stuff by hand. I got into the world of 3D printing. People seemed to like it, and that kind of led one thing to another to make more and more parts. with the 80% spirit pack coming out and now the life size spirit pack coming out, they left a lot of things that the buyers really wanted to upgrade in order to make them more movie accurate and more functional in some cases. And I love tinkering, so I have been working hard to try and come up with different parts and different things that make it not only more functional but more movie accurate. And along the way, some other little parts that you'll probably see on the Etsy page as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's the wonderful part about living in the age that we're in, which, you know, I'm sure by the time we're all like 100, they're gonna be able to just print the entire pack like off their phone, you know, like something stupid like
Right.
that. But
Right.
where we are now, to see it all like developing, and for you to have the ability to be like, hey, I actually love this property, I love this thing. Let me see if I figure out a way how to fix it, how to make it better.
Exactly.
I absolutely love that. And something I give you major props on that separates you from a lot of other creators, in my opinion, is every time you make something for sale, you have an instructional video to match it. So it's linked. Rolando's already on it. He shared it in the chat already. But check out Wes's YouTube channel for all of those tutorials.
Yeah, you know, and that's another thing I try to do. And it doesn't always work out depending on the part or the modification. But I realize that, you know, people are spending a lot of money on these, whether it's the 80% spirit pack or whether it's the life size pack. You don't really want to do a lot to tear them up or destroy them or drill them. But like I said, there's certain upgrades you kind of have to. But whenever possible, I always try and engineer the part to be as non-destructive as possible for that part. And I realize not everybody is super comfortable with tools and modifying things, so that's why I try and make the videos so it gives everybody more of a level of confidence when they go about putting these parts on, or they can watch the instructional video before they purchase it to see if this is something they really want to dive into, or if they'd rather kind of move on to something that's maybe a little easier to build or to attach.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, I'm glad you said that, because that's what made me a customer. I watched one of your videos first, and I was like, oh, that's pretty simple. I think I could do that. And it kind of just, you know, took me down this rabbit hole.
Right.
Right. EC over there saying he just subbed, so there you go. Got a new one there.
Thank you.
And this is funny. We talked about this before we started. So Sal in the house over from Twitch, he's saying he's loving the Uncle Buck hat. So when the show started, it was down. And I was saying, since it's December, 'tis the season, I figured I'd wear my Ghostbusters 2 suit, and I wish I had a Santa hat. I don't. Figured throw on the winter hat, and we were like talking to each other, and I'm like, oh, I can be more like Uncle Buck and rock it up.
You just need like that really old car, that old car that like backfire.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, I got a hatchet in the trunk. Come on, let's go check it out.
Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
Matt, Bug?
Found it.
Well, what's the difference here?
God, I love that movie. That's so good. So good. JV in the house. Good to see you. So he's on the road home from work, listening in. Good evening, peeps. There you go. Drive safe, sir. So a lot of cool things have happened since we've last talked. We had a Haslab come and go. We have a trailer that has released. And also, I forgot to mention this to everybody. Wes sent us some goodies that we'll be using on our new pack that we're building. So we'll go through these a little bit later on. But, I mean, the question... Actually, I think somebody had a question earlier. And oh, here we go. Anthony's asking, any chance of a Spangler wand attachment, the silver thing in the trailers? So
yes,
I think he's talking about the barrel. The
yes.
See if I can find it.
I guess I don't know I don't know the technical name for it yet, but yeah, the part that fits over the front of the wand, that is in the works. I've got everything that you've seen on the Frozen Empire pack that's at least we're able to see from the trailer and from some of those publicity photos that have been released. I've got in the works.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as of right now, we've released one of those mods, which was the power cell cover.
Right.
Um, to date, that's probably been the most complicated piece I've ever designed. It took quite a
Really?
while to be able to make it fit perfectly, kind of where it needs to go. So it took me quite a while to do that. But I am working on all of the other parts too. Right now, I thought I had talked to you on Instagram, and I had said I think I'm going to go to a simpler part next to give my brain a break. But I didn't, and I jumped right into the cyclotron bumper.
You did.
Uh,
Wow.
so yeah,
See if there's a larger photo of that here. Let's see here.
or
The G string, as they're calling it.
the cyclothong.
Yeah, the cyclothon. Yeah.
So that's been thing I've been working on, and that's a tricky one just because it can't be all printed in one piece.
Yeah. No
At
way.
least not with my printers. So that's still a work in progress. I feel like once I get that one finished and I'm able to release it, then I'll be jumping on to the ion arm, which that'll be a relatively easy one, honestly. The ion arm, and
Mm-hmm.
then the mods for the wand, the piece for the heat sink that you see there in yellow, and also for the I want to call it a silencer, but I know it's not a silencer. It's more like a heat shield
Yeah.
for the end of the barrel, which is very interesting. It almost makes me wonder if these things are on the proton pack in this movie because Walter Peck is supposed to be back in the picture
Mm-hmm.
in this movie. So I wonder if the EPA is coming in and saying if you're going to use these nuclear accelerators, they got to have a few more safety bells and whistles on them. So we'll see.
Interesting.
So we'll
Wow,
see.
that's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
Because people were thinking, and by the way, shout out to this guy's Batman collection over here. This is
Yeah. No kidding. That's awesome.
neck of turtles down here,
Yeah.
gargoyles. Who's this? We
Yeah.
gotta be friends with this person. Who
Yeah.
does
No
this?
kidding.
Because some people were like, since it's Frozen Empire, will they be needing like a flamethrower or something? But I
Maybe.
I don't know how they would conduct the flamethrower. But then again, it's movie science, so they can do whatever they like.
Do what they want. Yeah. Maybe
But
get superheated or something.
yeah, but I'm loving that idea of the EPA coming back in again, making their lives hell, and that's what
Right.
brings us back. The other thing that you mentioned, I'm still not sure on. I don't know why there's no like good photos. So what I'll do, I'll click on the video.
Yeah. I watched that video. It was pretty cool. It's man, I would have loved to have been able to take part in that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, how do they choose these people? Because this girl, oh, that was it right there. She's not even a like a Ghostbusters influencer. She's a gamer, but in the UK.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And then I went to her channel, like this vlog channel, not even 1,000 subscribers, but her gaming channel has a lot. So that's where I wasn't quite sure how they picked people, but it was in the UK
Yeah.
that probably influenced it.
Yeah.
See if we can get that close up on the back. No, they took it down already. Damn. But anyway, the part I'm still not sure on is that iron arm in the back. So now it like curves over and
Yeah.
down. That's the only one where I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm in love.
Yeah.
But we'll
Yeah.
see.
It for as far as like functionality goes, I'm sure from getting hung on stuff in the Ghostbusters world, that's probably good. But
Yeah.
it's for me, it's like everything the original 1984, even 1989 Proton Pack is the one that's burned into my brain. And what they did with Afterlife, I thought was good because there wasn't a lot of drastic changes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty divided. Some people, people I've spoken to, some really love the Frozen Empire upgrades, and others are just like, I'm kind of not digging them. So it's kind of divided.
Yeah. No, for sure. So you got a question here from Rex over at Millennium Workshop. He said, what printers do you run? Are you going to get the Elgo Big Daddy?
Telugu Big Daddy. I'm running actually Creality printers right now. I don't have any of the Elegoo ones, but I'm running all Creality using three FDM printers and then one resin printer, which is very temperamental sometimes.
Wow. I didn't even realize that you had that many printers.
Yes, yes, they've all migrated into. I used to have some in here in
Yeah.
our office, but it just kind of outgrew it. Plus, they're noisy, so we no longer have a guest bedroom. We now have a printer room.
Yeah. Well, here, let's
There's probably going to be one or two more on the way soon.
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a I mean, to be able to have like a workshop area like that, I mean, that's I think for a lot of us that's goals.
Yeah.
I don't even know how Rex does it. Let me actually pull up Rex's channel real quick so you guys can
It's funny. You go in that room in the house, and it's always like 10 degrees warmer because of all the machines running.
hope you have solar panels on that house. Pulling all that power.
No, no, unfortunately not.
Let's see here. Rex, tell me what video you want me to pull up. I'll let you pick. He said I have 3 Creality Smart Pro how do you say it? Elegoo Saturn 3 Ultras. My workshop is in my dining room. So that's what I want to show. Let's see here. I wish I had my pedals to like switch the screens easy. It's killing me. It's killing me.
Oh, nice.
My name's Rex. If you've been watching season 1 of Ahsoka and you fell in love with Merrick's helmet and you want to make one, you found the right video. Let's get this going.
So all his YouTube videos like made us his lives and stuff. That's his dining room. He's just there. The whole wall is there. Dining room table's right in front.
And see, those are a different animal because those things take quite a long time to print.
These here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you guys do it, especially this part. When it comes to, now it's off the printer. It's time to sand it, finish it. Actually, what was that phrase you used last time?
Post-process?
Post-process. There you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where I think I would get lost because my
so many
patience level is so low.
Yeah, there's so many different techniques, and there's actually because obviously when you 3D print something, if you're printing it in an FDM printer like with filament, you're going to see those little layer lines in it. Mm-hmm. No matter how good you set the printer, you're always going to see those little layer lines in it, and it really depends on the person. And sometimes, like people like me, if I'm putting it on my Proton pack, I want to sand it down and get it, looking as real as possible. Some people it doesn't really bother them, and that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. But sanding those layer lines down and then priming and then sanding again and then repeating the process a few times and then putting a few coats of paint on it, it does take a lot of time to do. But if you do it right and you take your time, your items will come out amazing.
Mm. I mean, I believe it. Even here, if we go to his latest short, actually, he's put out another one since then. But I mean, this one here was.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin on how you would even put that together. Like the way you guys that do this, the 3D printing, you guys are the real MVPs.
It's a lot of messing things up first. Learning from your mistakes for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. That looks really good.
Yeah.
See that he really did a nice job of doing the post-processing on it. And oftentimes the post-processing will take longer than sometimes designing and printing it, just because you've got to hit it with the sandpaper and then you got to prime it. You got to hit it with a different grit sandpaper, a few different times to really get that finish. But like I said, the more time that you put into it to really get that finish down, the better it's going to look.
Yeah. That's wild. That's wild. So here, why don't we take a look at some of the stuff that you you blessed me with, which I'm forever indebted to you.
Yeah, of
And
course.
of course, by the way, I will give a standard disclaimer. Not paid to say any of these things. I asked him to be on the show. By coincidence, I started the build. Like I said, he blessed me with some parts. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about these again, considering movies coming in a couple months. You guys have plenty of time to start building. I'm actually doing a new video series. It's going to be a shorter series, but building all this out. So you guys, if you want to make your own proton packs and you want to modify, that's your man right there. So we'll start with what you just worked on,
Okay.
which is
Yes.
the power cell cover.
Yes.
So right now I could see that it's missing the black, which I believe is separate.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to lie, I was really, like, my brain was trying to figure out, like, how is he going to make the multicolored pieces? So why don't you walk me through that?
Yeah. So what we did is, I looked at this a number of ways how to build this. At first, I was going to do the base, the big square piece in all black, but then I was like, wait a second, the way this thing is built and the way it looks like it goes on, it would make more sense to build this in the yellow and then overlay the black pieces. And one of the reasons I chose to do that is because if you look on the Spirit Life Size pack, the little nubs that kind of round over the side that's near that blue piece of glass where your power cell indicator is on, they're a little bit smaller than, say, like a regular proton pack, like if you were looking to look at one of the ones for the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have made the stripes, the black stripes, a lot thinner. And I had a prototype that I did with the black stripes thinner, the same width as those little nubs, and it just did not look right. It didn't look like the pictures or anything. So I knew I needed to make those black pieces with a 90 degree at the top to be a cap to go over them.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we did. So ideally what you do is you fit that yellow piece on. And a lot of times I do recommend you hot glue it, but like I've got one on a pack right back here that's actually the one that I took the picture for up on Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
I never glued it in place. I just stuck it in place. So they will hold in place. I wouldn't recommend going out in public and bouncing around without gluing them, but they should be a really snug fit to hold in there. Another thing that threw me for a loop on this is the fins that go down the side of the power cell are actually angled and they're not straight. So I had to make them angled in order to fit correctly.
Interesting.
So that was also a challenge. And on top of that, the sides of the power cell as they come down, they're actually on a slight angle. So there was a bunch of angles on this that I was not prepared for when I started designing it. So it took me about 6 or 7 revisions to get this guy honed exactly in. But what we ended up with, I'm super proud of. And if you have a hot glue gun, something that should install in less than 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, the pieces, they snap in.
Right.
Like they're pretty straightforward, which is awesome.
Right.
So, I mean, we were talking before about like the revision type thing. Like, is that a good day if it's only taking you 6 or 7 revisions, or is it, common that, I mean, you could go through a whole roll of filament, for example?
Nah, well, 6 or 7 is, I would say, probably more than I normally have on a part.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily I have a bunch of old filament that I usually prototype with. That's random colors. So there's probably pieces laying around here that are in red or gray or green or whatever, just that I use just for test fitting things.
Yeah.
But then when I am getting close and I think I've got it, I'll go ahead and print it out in the proper color. It should be, but I'm super proud of the way that this guy came out and the way everything just fits together nicely. Yeah.
No, I'm loving this. And what I like about the hot glue idea, so by the way, I snapped them in. What I love about the hot glue idea is that if I want to take it off, I can heat it up. And now I can have my movie 1, movie 2, whatever it may be,
Right.
back to where it was.
Exactly. And that's something I was really trying to do. The only thing I didn't do on that particular piece that I've seen in the movie, and with other, there's one out that someone's created that's on Etsy for the Haslab pack that has the box that opens on the side of it.
Right.
And I don't know why they did this in the movie. Maybe there's a reason, but there's a screw like right in the middle, and I'm assuming it's a screw to hold on, the shell to the motherboard. But I'm thinking about it. I wonder why they put that right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
In the other movies, it was up a little bit higher near where the ion arm comes out. But so I did not put that on this particular piece. I figure if people really want that, they can drill it.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to keep it nice and clean, and I think those lines and everything, they just look kind of too cool to put a screw right in the middle of.
See, so that's what makes you awesome at what you do. Because I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know if you guys can see over on this pack here. There's the screw on the side that Wes is talking about. I saw the screw in other people's like prints of this, and I was like, why would they do that? Like, maybe it's just because there's a hole there, so they figure, I'll make that the mounting hole. But you easily identified that. No, that's there on the pack that's going to be used in the movie, so that's probably why they kept it there. I'm like right over my head. Wouldn't have even caught that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just didn't. I don't know. But like I said, if people want it there, it sure is easy enough to drill it out and put one there. But if they don't want it there, you don't have to.
Yeah. Anthony's asking sandblast. He's confused by sandblasting. Can you explain what that is?
Sandblasting?
Mm-hmm. Or do you do it at all on yours, or?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
There you go.
You're talking about just like traditional sandblasting, like finishing a piece.
Oh, you know what it was? Millennium said that he sandblasts the helmet. That's what it was. He said,
"Oh, okay."
If you want to know the secret, it's sand and then sandblast.
Sandblast. I never thought of that. See, that I would have thought sandblasting it. I'd have probably held it in the wrong place for too long and like blown a hole straight through it.
Yeah.
But no, that's a great idea.
Oh, all right, there you go. We're all learning together. I love that.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Patrick
Especially
saying,
when
"Look,
talking
comfy."
pieces as big as a helmet like that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can be sanding those things forever, and hats off, because that's takes some time to post process things like that.
Yeah. No, for sure. Cutthroat saying, "Glad you had Scott on your stream. He knows what he's talking about, and he can make something like helmets and other prop types to look like the movie props for your favorite movies." So there you go. And we're being bad influences here. It's EC saying, "I think it's time to finally build a pack." So there you go. So another thing I got on here. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll pull up the site, because this will be better quality than. I don't have my B camera on today, so. So I got the vacuum tube, and again, he's got videos. So whatever piece it is, you can easily. It goes this way. Yeah.
And you'll see, I've had several people ask me this on Etsy, and I probably should put something in the description if I haven't already, but they'll ask me, do these parts actually come in green, or?
Yeah.
and no, they do ship in the black color, but I just put them in that color for ease of being able to see them, not only in the pictures but in the videos too. But
exactly.
And that particular piece, the vacuum port tube, as you'll see when you take it out of the package, it's in two pieces.
Yep.
And I made it like that because when I made it, I didn't know how I was going to ship it, if I could ship it in a flatter envelope. So I made it in two pieces that slip together. That way there's less of a chance of it getting broken and shipping.
And you have a groove in here, so you know which side is
exactly.
And you just slide it on. Nice. Another thing that you sent me was this booster frame.
Yes.
This is another one that, like, when I saw your channel and you having these, I was like, why would anybody need this? But in getting the pack in person, you're like, oh yeah, there's like no depth or anything
Right.
on
Right.
there. So that's where this comes in handy. And you also
Exactly.
included the screws as well.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Try to when we're doing parts, I really try and make it as easier on the buyer as possible. When it comes to sourcing the correct type of screws or letting them know what the correct drill bit's going to be, anything I can do to make the installation procedure as easy as possible, I'm all about.
Yep. Love that. As somebody who's not good at this stuff, I appreciate that. And it's funny, as I say that, I literally just found a washer that I've been looking for since yesterday. And it was just right. Like when you guys see the B camera with all the stickers on here, it was right on Hobbies with Jose's sticker, like over his eyeball. I was like, oh.
You made me worry for a second. I was like, I hope that wasn't in the box I sent you, because now I'm missing something.
No, you're missing it. Yeah. The next thing that I have here is the full size. Where you at? Well, essentially this. You sent me the Spengler Wand V hook for the Haslab. So this will allow me to swap out the current one that I have. I was surprised. The Spirit Pack wand is quite big. It just feels cheap.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only downside with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And this not crazy about, and that's one thing that one of the other parts corrects. If you're going to keep that stock wand on there, is that the V hook is like on a weird angle.
Yeah.
So the wand track kind of straightens that out if you're going to use that stock wand to kind of give it that little bit of an angle, so it makes it a little bit easier to pull, more like you see in Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah. Yeah. The next one, let me see if I can find the picture. Here we go. I'm not going to lie. This is probably my favorite mod.
The bumper.
I don't know why. I just love the shape that it creates on the pack. And I don't know. I just feel like it just makes it more like official. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little subtle change, but it really does kind of give you that little extra piece that your eye goes to.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can find a picture. So Great Scott, a.k.a. Wes, helped me with the pack I wore at Comic-Con, which was an 80% pack. And, one of the first things that I'll tell everybody is my pack is significantly in dimension smaller than the Haslab packs. But despite what you may think, if you're doing your first cosplay, nobody looks at your pack and says, hey, your pack's cheaper because it's smaller than the other ones, or your pack doesn't look as official because it has X, Y, and Z on it. People just love seeing it.
Yes.
So just have fun with it. If all you can get is an 80%, do it. If all you can get is some broken one from the thrift store, just do it. Because as long as you have fun putting it together, people can sense that, they see that, and it makes a world of difference.
And what's great about it is make it your own. It doesn't have to be one from Ghostbusters 1, 2, 3, Frozen Empire. You don't have to make a pack that's from any of them. Make them your own, like you did with, you've got a few little bells and whistles on it, and you've got like that caution tape on the cyclotron bumper, and so you got some really cool things on there that make it your own, some of your own personality.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. So Melissa was responding to Cutthroat's comment. She said, yes, we build other movie parts. We've done some hoverboard parts for the Back to the Future hoverboard, the Indiana Jones medallion, and started working on the Iron Man arc reactor. So there you go.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's the thing, too. You said it last time. I'll say it for you this time. But if there's ideas for things you guys have, send them his way. Send them his way.
For sure. we always like to hear different ideas. And right now, our primary focus, obviously, with the new movie coming out, has been Ghostbusters, and it's been keeping both of us very, very busy. Me on the designing side, but Melissa is right there with me, helping me pack orders and double checking things for me. So she's a big part of this too.
Yeah, no, for sure. It takes two to make the world go round.
Absolutely.
I couldn't find the picture of the bumper on my other one, but trust me, for some reason, it just makes it, to me, it just makes the whole cyclotron come together. Next thing, we have the speaker covers. This one, super easy. Again, this is the 80% one, but the same concept. It's so annoying that they put those on there. It's just like an eyesore. So even on my pack, I put the cross over it, which you can still see the holes, but it just like the cross distracts your eyes.
Right.
But you made these simple, just right over the top, covers the holes. Good to go.
Just drop in, and people have they can install with a little bit of, again, hot glue. But I've also had customers that have, it's going to be kind of on a more of a display pack than something they wear around. I've had people use double-sided tape and just press it on there, and that's good enough for them, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a super easy install.
Yeah, that's probably, if anybody was to pick just one to do on their spirit pack that they bought, this would be it. To me, that would be the easy one.
Certainly easier than trying to Bondo and sand those holes. So
for sure. Next thing, another one that when I saw your videos on YouTube channel, I was like, why does somebody need that?
Is that are you looking for the crank knob?
Yes.
That one I don't have up there right now, just
Sold
because
out?
I had a malfunction with my resin printer.
Oh no.
I only have a few in stock right now, so I didn't want to have them up there in case people had purchased them. So hopefully within the next couple of days, those will be back on the shop.
There you go. But I lucked out just in the nick of time. Got me the crank arm knob, a must-have for the top. And then you threw in some goodies. I mean, the whole thing is goodies. Not gonna lie. You tossed in some neat stickers.
Some peeking ghosts, yeah.
I love this. And I got both variants too.
That's right.
Love that. So there's the one with the black vinyl and the one with the white vinyl.
Yes.
Sweet.
Fun little guys.
You're the man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I tell you, this is, once you guys like dive in once, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for you. Because you just make it
addicting.
Mm-hmm.
It gets addicting.
So like I said at the top, one thing that came out since the last time that we talked was a new Haslab.
Yes.
And they
in the box.
Let's see, they pulled it down from the top. Where you at? Here you go.
There you go.
Yeah, 2 in a box, PKE meter, $300. Simple question: did you get one?
You're gonna think I'm crazy, but no, I did not get one.
Wow.
No. And the reason for that, not that I won't probably try and maybe snag one later down the road if I can find one.
Yep.
But literally, I've just from my normal day job and from the Etsy store and everything,
mm-hmm.
I just haven't had time to really think about getting one. And I've got, I know it's not a Hasbro, but it's a Great Scott prop shop version.
Look at that.
But I've got this guy here that normally sits on my shelf. It's just a prop stunt pack. It doesn't pop open or anything like that. But the Haslab one looks amazing. It looks really, really good.
Well, I mean, you nailed it on the head just now with my dilemma. My dilemma going into it was, I have a $20 one that I bought found it online. I bought 3 of them. I figured I'd give them out if people needed them. Just repainted it a little bit.
Yep.
And once again, just to let's see if I can find a picture with it. Nobody said shit. Like nobody looked at it and was like, "Hey, your ghost trap isn't a real whatever." Like they just like, "Oh, sweet, your whole costume is like legit."
Right.
So my dilemma was like, do I back this thing? Because in actuality, I don't think I'm gonna rock it at a con. Like not because there's metal on it. Don't
I know
want
what
to
you
lose it.
mean. It's for me. It would be one of those things, that the Ghostbuster enthusiast, the owner, is like, it's like one of those things that sits on your shelf that you just kind of sit back at it and look at sometimes and look at all the detail. It really is one of those collectible ones. And you're right. I don't think I would want to sport it at a con. I wouldn't want to drop it or have somebody damage it or even get it stolen.
Yeah. No, and it just kind of sits there. And the thing is, as you walk around all day, you don't want a bunch of heavy stuff on you. So like,
Right.
Having a light one, works out.
Right.
But I think what actually I wanted the most out of these was the extras. So, I mean, for sure, yeah, I want to, like you said, you want to have it on display.
Right.
Friends come over. Hey, look what this thing does. Like you want to do all that stuff. But it was the extras. Like I was like, oh, I can actually potentially use this holster on my stunt pack, on my $20 pack.
Yep.
And then the same with the PKE meter.
Right.
So,
right.
$300 for 2 holsters.
On those extras, is that piece? Does it say if that piece that it hooks onto on the belt, is that a solid piece or is it like the leather? I wonder, or like the faux leather?
Oh, so it's faux leather, but
okay.
The backing, I believe, is metal or aluminum.
It's a solid piece. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? We'll go to the video that put that into 18,000 territory. Oh, he's dropped that many videos since he showed it.
Jeez. He's got a great channel.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find the holster. Yeah, this was the video that the second it dropped, it jumped up a whole 1,000 in the same day. Because, I mean, it was going to back anyway. Like, that wasn't the question.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be one of a mod right there for you. Like a new V-hook, depending on what it comes with.
Right. Yeah, because I was...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was looking it over pretty well, and I'm like, what could I mod on that? And that was one of the thoughts. I thought to myself, maybe smaller wheels. It seems like it's a little taller maybe than what I've seen in some of the other movies. Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
But it also looks like it comes with the red rails and also the gray rails.
Yes.
They're different from Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
Exactly, yeah. So the gray ones would be from 2. And it will apparently make different sounds.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So here, we'll add some sounds, and we'll answer that question you had.
It's playing and it's cosplay. I'm going to say we don't unveil one of the tiers here, which is
you're going to release this too?
Yes.
Oh wow.
That's a hunk of metal.
Oh, that is good God.
Okay.
We appreciated that you always noticed, especially when you did the Spangler and Toronto one. Even the aluminum dial on the Clippard valve.
Totally.
We know that you love the metal. We went metal on this one.
It makes a real difference. It also makes a difference because you know that this will be out there trooping 20 years from now.
Yes.
Right? Like this no amount of abuse is going to render this unusable.
Yeah, I think that alone, like in seeing that video, how much of the stuff on even the pack is metal.
Right.
Like that was one of those difference makers there.
No, that's nice because other versions I've seen of that have been like that thick, like tool leather type of a thing with like rivets in it for the V-hook mount.
Yeah. And there you go. You just broke out the silver pieces, the different hose connects on it.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, you spend all that money on this. It's like, am I taking it to a show? I don't know. So
Yeah.
maybe, like I just thought of it. Maybe for you, it's even like having pieces made, knowing that people may buy cheaper versions
Right.
and want to take those to cons now, because now they're
Sure.
like, oh, I don't want to go to a con with some busted spirit or 20 like my $20 one. Like I didn't have any mods to buy to put on it. My only mod was repainting. But maybe
Yeah.
that's where it's like, oh, you'd have some stuff for people to add on there. I don't know.
Yeah. And what's a funny little factoid is rumor has it, and I can't confirm or deny this, but rumor has it when they filmed Afterlife, you know, the dirt farm field that had, you know, 100 traps in it at the end of the movie. Allegedly, those were the Walmart trap.
Really?
Yes, they're like, why reinvent the wheel and make 100 of these traps?
Yeah.
When you've already got them made. I mean, they're going to be instead of doing something with CGI or
Mm-hmm.
VFX or something, they kind of touched them up a little bit, obviously, in a little paint. But yeah, that's what I had heard was they used like the Walmart inexpensive traps for that scene.
Yeah. That's wild. That's wild.
And
So
if it worked for a movie, I mean, why can't it work for you? You know, and anybody else that doesn't want to spend a ton of money on, for cosplay.
Yeah. No, exactly. So I mean, a question. You know, as this trailer drops, you're sitting at home. Do you just immediately like get like a piece of paper and a pencil, and you're like, all right, pause, notes, keep going, pause, notes? Like, is that what happens, or?
Well, with this trailer, I probably watched it 2 or 3 times just from the get go to soak everything in.
Mm-hmm.
And really, for me, it's more of an afterthought. Like, okay, now let's dig in and see what the differences are. Because honestly, watching the trailer, the only thing I noticed was the power cell. You know, there's a scene where Winston, there's kind of a close up where you can see it off of his shoulder. And then in the final scene, that scene right there where they're in the jackets, I was like, wow, I was like the end of the wands looked a little different, but I couldn't really see it that well.
Mm-hmm.
But really, for me, what helped me out with the modifications was that those pictures you were showing earlier with that influencer that was over in UK that did that publicity piece. That's where I really got a lot of my information from. Aside, you know, obviously I saw what was in the trailer, what I could see, but really I started doing some research on it, and that's when I found that influencer.
Yeah. No, that's.
I was excited with. I was all about the trailer. It looks. It kind of gave me some real Ghostbusters vibes a little bit.
Yeah, no, and that's what people were saying with the That's the one you're talking about there. That scene. There.
Yes, exactly. Yep. At first, when I first saw this, I had to do a double take because I thought maybe they had mounted the trap on the proton pack like they do in the Real Ghostbusters cartoon. So I was like, real quick at first glance, I was like, they mount the trap back there now? But then we find out it was a power cell cover.
Yeah. No, they were saying that this. I just had it. Where'd you go? That this scene with the big bad is similar to a character that was in Real Ghostbusters.
Yes.
So that's the movie. I'm hoping and most likely will have some cartoon details to it.
Yes, I'm excited about it. I know that everybody probably has already figured out that Slimer has been confirmed. Sounds like so. That's a lot of fun. And I know they were just doing some pickup shots. I don't know if they were pickup shots or reshoots in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what those were about. I haven't seen anything about what they were shooting, but I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, somebody came in the chat and just did like one of these on us, like just did a quick flex. And hypothetically, Legacy of Nerd is saying, aka Daniel, what if I say I've seen photos of the suits in full detail? But you know what? Never mind. He is
You
the
see
Power
me
Ranger.
leaning in, like, tell me more.
Yeah. Literally, the one question I have on the suits that I've asked in different groups is, what patch are they rocking? Is it the default? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is there a new one? Don't know. Because if it's a third one, I'm gonna be mad. I made this one with the intention of wearing it at a premiere or something. But
I got a question for you.
mhm.
So one of the things that, and this is kind of going back to a little bit of Afterlife.
Mhm.
So I know one of the things that fans were expecting to see in Afterlife in the opening scenes was that the original, like, Ghostbusters logo popping up on the screen, the music playing. We didn't get that in Afterlife, obviously, because it was a little bit more of a sadder type of a scene.
Right.
Do you think we'll get that in Frozen Empire?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna go no. Because, and I think this is an overall question a lot of people have, and we've mentioned it on the show in different episodes, not even Ghostbusters specific, but I think they're at the point now where they have to. This movie has to be like its own thing. Like, it can't be. Now it's Ghostbusters 2, the fan film, the way that the first one was. So, if they're taking that route, I'm hoping the answer is no, that it's its own thing. But at the same time, depending on how the rest of the movie goes,
Right.
they could treat it like it's a Star Wars thing where it's every time it starts same way, same format, with the exception of Rogue One. So
right.
that there's two ways to go about it, but I think ultimately the movie itself has to be its own thing at this point. It can't be another fan film.
Sure. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm going to be happy either way. Just to be sitting in the theater, seeing another Ghostbusters film, I'm going to be super excited about. I did like that they included it towards the end of Afterlife as kind of a little nod.
Right.
But I'm also excited to see the freshness, the new things.
Yeah.
Obviously, I liked all the fan service in Afterlife, but it'll be cool to see kind of the next step with this film.
Yeah. No, for sure. So Patrick was asking Legacy for the scoop. He's saying, to be fair, I saw it like 8 months ago, and I only saw the kids and Paul run. Oh, so yeah, not anybody important, just the characters.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Oh, but also, shout out to that trailer and the community, because due to that trailer, here it is. Sales on this brand, Canada Weather Gear, their coats have gone through the roof. There used to be a red one here.
Not
there
anymore.
was a red one. Not anymore. Gone. At this point, I'm about to just buy like the blue one and just do it. But it was hilarious. Like, one person found it, shared it on like Reddit and Facebook, and boom, just out of here. Just out of here.
That company's celebrating. They're like, we're having a good Christmas party this year.
Yeah. If I were them, I'd stop manufacturing any of these other ones and just
do all red.
All red. and we have this alternate red one that has black stripes on it. I don't know what that's about, but we decided to just add a little bit of black to it. See what happens. But no, it's interesting to see where it's going to all go, because it's like it's getting a new breath of fresh air and a new life. But I'm also like, do they go back into hiding for a couple years? Like, is that the secret? Like, you do some Ghostbuster stuff, disappear, then you come back and you disappear. There's different ways you can take it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that storyline works. And there's been some recent quotes from Dan Aykroyd that said his character was very resentful in this film, and things like that. So I think maybe we'll get some more of a backstory about the falling out with he and Egon. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe how that whole thing happened with the mom and the kids kind of separating from the father. Who knows? So it'll be interesting to see how that story arc kind of unfolds.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. But I love, again, he's doing these on us over here.
And maybe the name of the villain.
Yeah.
Do you know the name of the villain?
I don't. Do you know the name of the villain? No. I tell you. Well, here's the thing, and Legacy, don't answer this question, but they said that a lot of this will be like newish stuff. But it's deceptive because when you see things, you're like, wait, that looks like it's from the cartoon. So that's where it's like, which way is it? But it all signs point to it not being, now it's the heir of Vigo's throne or something. Like, it doesn't seem like they want to take the Ghostbusters 2 route. But then that's where it's like, show me, don't just say it.
Right.
The influencer posted photos them holding the slime blaster. So it's like,
right.
Is it, or were those just there? Like, I don't know.
Maybe it melts the ice.
Maybe. Or maybe they're like, oh, whatever we're doing isn't working. There's slime here. Oh, let's use these things. It should work. And it doesn't work. They got to like do something else,
Yeah. Who knows? It'll be cool to find out. And hopefully this movie is successful and maybe we'll get some other ones. One of the villains from the Real Ghostbusters cartoon that I always thought would be cool to see in a live action film was Sam Hain, the Pumpkin Man. As a big baddie, that would have been cool too. So you never know what's down the road,
especially if they do what they're saying now, where they're like, this one's going to be like more scary. Like if they they start taking that little bit more edgy type of feel, that would be a great one.
Yep. And if you compare that comedy that Ghostbusters is known for with that scary, I when I was a kid, when I saw the first Ghostbusters, 4 or 5 years old, and that library ghost, it scared the crap out of me. First time I saw it as a little kid, and for the longest time as a young kid, I'd close my eyes when that scene would come in. It was genuinely scary. So if they can put some more of that stuff in there, along with that subtle comedy that it's known for, that's just a winning formula.
Yeah, for sure. And then I do have a confession to make. I talked about it Monday in case anybody missed the show, but I saw a movie this weekend. I like how I fronted like we're going to talk about non-Ghostbuster stuff for a bit, but like we're just, it's just is what it is. But I saw a movie this weekend.
What'd you see?
I finally sat down to watch it, and I was going to do a live stream originally, but I said, you know what? For once, I have a day off where I don't have anything to do, so I'm going to do some sewing of my new flight suit. I'm going to watch a movie, and I'm finally going to check out 2016.
You did.
And I have thoughts.
I'm anxious to hear them.
Because you have not seen it, if I remember.
Oh, I have seen it.
Oh, you did see it.
Oh yeah.
There you go. So Anthony's literally the last of the last emperor, if you would. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it. The only frustrating part to me about the movie was Chris Hemsworth. I thought at some points, I was like, okay, I get it. He's stupid. I get it. Like, let's move on. But I think in hindsight, Monday morning quarterback, the humor of this movie, I think, matched that time period. Like, they even had one of the characters in this movie. I won't spoil it in case some of you like have been avoiding the movie, but there's a character in the movie that literally is the same character in Deadpool. Like, he's like the same person, except he delivers different things or does a different kind of driving. And I was like, Deadpool had these kind of jokes too, and this kind of humor in it. When the movie was done, I realized I watched the extended cut. I didn't realize I was watching the extended versus the theatrical.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah. Because there's some parts I was like, man, that joke's really like dragging. But but it was fun. It was.
So if you saw the extended cut, then you saw like the whole dance scene with the police department, right? Or maybe that wasn't in the extended
Oh
cut.
yeah. I did.
Okay.
That wasn't in the theatrical.
Not in the not in the theatrical cut. It was.
Interesting.
You know how they all end up like pointing in like a direction, all like frozen there.
Yeah.
Just ended up like that, but you don't know how they got like that. They might have had something in the
Oh.
credits with that, but I remember seeing it in the theater. I'm like, I wonder why they're all like posing like that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So this might be similar to Batman vs Superman, the Snyder cut, where I think the theatrical is unwatchable, but when you watch the Snyder cut, it fills in some blanks that don't necessarily like are life changing, but it makes sense of like you got here because of this. You're like, oh, okay,
Right.
you know,
Right. No, it definitely had some good writing and some good lines in it. And I'll tell you the line that one of the lines I specifically remember that made me laugh out loud was when I can't remember the character's name. I think it was Aaron. She goes to the restaurant and the mayor is sitting there and he's eating, and he doesn't want to close the city, and she's like, "Don't be like the mayor in Jaws," and he's like, "Don't you ever compare me to the mayor in Jaws ever." And that's just like being a Jaws fan too. That one made me laugh.
Yeah, exactly. No, you know, I Anthony and I were talking about it because, like I said, Anthony has not seen it, and I even until this weekend when I saw it, I didn't know if their intention was full on reboot or a soft sequel until I was watching it and I was like, oh wait, all the original players are back, but they're all playing different people.
Exactly.
So I was like, oh, okay, they went for a reboot here. And then I watched some of the director commentary. They were like, no, we went for a reboot here. Yes. And I think that was the egregious, like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, doing a whole reboot of everything. Anthony was like, you could have literally just made all of them like the daughters of whoever, and it would have been fine. So I think that's the big issue.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm sad about, I'm good with no sequel. You know, if they were to show up in the new movie or they do some sort of dimension jumping, you know, I wouldn't be surprised because that's what Hollywood does.
Right.
But the one thing I'm sad about is that the fans hated this movie so much, which I understand why, but they hated it so much that we may not get a Haslab or a Spirit Pack of that Proton Pack. Because all of those scenes where when it was dark and they're walking and all you see is their silhouette, but the cyclotron going and the packs, I was like, that's kind of a cool ass cyclotron.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Was it my favorite Ghostbusters movie? Obviously not.
No.
Do I hate the movie? No, I don't hate it. It was entertaining, and it did have some good writing in it. I did like all the character cameos. At first, I thought they were going to snub Ernie Hudson. And I was like, I haven't seen him the whole film, and then he kind of, pops in. But, it was I'll call it okay.
Yeah. Even this part, like when they came out with the no-go symbol.
Yeah.
And that whole sequence in the subway, I was like, and the Spangler type character, which I wasn't sure who was going to be really, but I'm guessing her on the right was really the Spangler.
Right. And more of like the real Ghostbusters Spangler.
Yes. Like problem solving, testing, like every test was a real world test. Everything. The hair. Yeah. I was like, this is good movie. This is good movie. But it's and Anthony was in the comments here saying, if they make a Ghostbusters multiverse, I'll be pissed. I don't need another multiverse. I agree. But here's the thing. If you view this as a Ghostbusters fan film, I think the guard comes down a bit. I think you're willing to let a lot of stuff slide.
Sure.
But I honestly, I wouldn't be mad if they showed up in Afterlife. Like if they showed up and there was no acknowledgement of Egon, Winston, all of them being other people in the previous movie. You just pretend like that part didn't happen.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine.
yeah. I guess it depends on how they pull it off. But I could definitely, I agree with Anthony there. If they pulled them in to one of these new films, I could see a lot of fans getting upset with that.
For sure.
Would I be upset with it? Not necessarily, but if they did it the right way, if it made sense.
Yeah. And I also blame Hollywood because at that point, and even until recent years, there was so much emphasis on rebooting and making guys look stupid in movies. You know, you're in the Last Jedi realm on this one of like your heroes are shit. I understand the backlash. Like it all made sense. But if you sit down and actually give it a shot,
yeah,
it ain't the worst thing.
No, it's not, and it does have some funny parts. Like you were saying, the scene in the subway where they're testing the proton pack out for the first time, and the proton beam goes like 10 feet and hits the ground, and she goes wah wah. I mean, there's some funny stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah. The dumplings. I've literally had that battle.
Yeah,
where I'm like, what the fuck? Where's the rest of them?
Right. It's like I get one dumpling in here. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's like a gallon of soup and she has one noodle.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony says, I just don't want another multiverse. I don't know how they logically fold the ladies the ladies in the original universe, but if the guys in charge now do it, maybe it'll work. So I've been watching, like I said, I've been down this rabbit hole now for a couple months, and Jason Reitman seems to want to like not piss fans off.
Yeah.
Like he's very much about like, I want to make sure this is right, and I don't know how much is like scripted as far as even like the things he says, but it sounds like he wants to do everything right. And if he were to bring them in, I think he would find a way to do it where people aren't just like, oh, F you. Like it.
Yeah.
I don't think that will happen. Because even in Afterlife, people went in there like pretty defensive before it even came out, and left the movie theater being like, I'm gonna go buy another ticket to watch it. So.
Right. Yeah. That was me. I saw it 3 times in the theater.
There you go. I'm not ashamed. I mean, I am ashamed, but I'm not ashamed. I was not really a Ghostbusters fan going into that movie. So I'm a newer fan, which is also why I wanted to watch 2016 with Anthony, because I'm like, oh, the newbie and the veteran are watching it at the same time. How's the reaction going to be? So I effed that up. Maybe we'll still watch it. Who knows? But,
well, I want to know what Anthony thinks when he sees it.
When he sees it, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is when the movie came out, at that time, Anthony had just started making videos for the channel, and he sent me the video to edit. So I edited the video, added all the assets to it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. And he compares it to Force Awakens, but doing homage correctly. And that's what sparked my interest. And then seeing other people say the same thing, I was like, huh. I was like, all right. And as I'm going through it, I'm like, literally all the same, like main things in this movie are from the first one, from what he's saying.
Right.
So how are they possibly paying homage and not just straight up stealing?
Right.
Then I saw it after watch. I made sure to watch the originals first.
Right.
Then I saw it and I was like, got it. Makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense. So Louis is saying they did a multiverse in the IDW comics.
Oh. Interesting.
Anthony, you have homework.
I wonder, was it a multiverse with the female cast and the male cast?
Must be. Well, Patrick's saying here, for the minuscule amount of IDW I've seen, they have a series where they are all together. God bless the writer figuring that one out. He says, me and Louis were on the same wavelength. Oh, so he wrote that, not even reacting to Louis' comment.
That's funny.
He says, I agree with Rambling Nerd. No live action multiverse. Leave that for the comics. And yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I would probably agree with that. Yeah, leave the multiverse for that, because I've seen other things where in the comics where they're combined with. Did I see one where they were like with the Ninja Turtles or something?
You might be right.
There's Ninja Turtles, or I can't remember.
Well, and
Might
there's
be.
an Indiana Jones comic book that came out where, oh yeah, there's, hang on.
Yes, just recently, right?
Yeah, he's diving into a tomb, and it's the tomb of
Yeah, from Afterlife, where
um
Ivo Shandor is.
yes, it's that one. Yeah, oh, yeah. So there was
All right,
a
so I'm not crazy. Okay.
yeah. That's the cosplay to make right there.
Yeah, if you pull that off, whew,
Yeah, it's gonna be hot.
yeah,
It's great. This is what I love about the nerd space is like all the kids who grew up watching all this shit are now the ones making all of it.
uh-huh.
So they're literally like, "Hey,
They were thinking
you,
of when they were younger.
yeah." They're like, "Hey, don't you like Indiana Jones? Yeah. Do you know somebody who works over at Disney that can get us a green light to like incorporate it? Yeah, done."
How crazy would that be? How crazy of an Indiana Jones film would that be if obviously when Harrison Ford was younger, if they had done an Indiana Jones, because like around like if you go into the story like of Ivo Shandor and all that whole thing, that was I think in the 30s and 40s
Mm-hmm.
is what they say. I might be wrong, but how crazy would that have been if they had thrown like an Ivo Shandor Indiana Jones movie in there or something?
Yeah,
That would have been really kind of cool.
yeah. Like just go for it. Did you see the new Transformers movie? The
The Rise of the Beast.
yeah.
I did not see that one yet.
All right, so I won't say it.
No, go ahead. What did you see it?
Yeah. It's great. It's again, turn your brain off.
Okay.
It's a better turn your brain off than the Michael Bay movies. I'll say that.
Okay. Okay.
But turn your brain off. Sit there. If you like Bumblebee, you're definitely gonna like this one.
Okay.
And there's a merger of franchises towards the end.
Really?
Yeah, it's subtle.
Okay.
And it's one of those that you're like, F it. Yes.
Merging franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to watch it just because of that now.
Yeah, but all these studios are like struggling with money, so I don't think we're gonna get any build up on it.
Okay.
But actually, another one Fast and Furious. I don't think the last one, but the one before it, they drop a line like, "Yeah, like that island, with the dinosaurs on it," but like talking about it not like a movie, like an actual place.
So they're like the same universe type of a thing. Yeah, well, both Universal films.
Yeah, F it, just go for it.
That's so funny.
The dude went to space. You might as well incorporate dinosaurs at this point.
Yeah, you might as well. As well. How about have you seen I can't remember if we talked about this last time or not. Have you seen the new Indiana Jones film yet?
I almost did the other day, but my dad turned it on and apparently turned it off. And it takes a lot. I don't think he's ever done that in his life. He actually turned off the movie and was like, it was too boring.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe it or not, I saw it in the theater when it came out. And we were just chilling the other night and I flipped it on. It was on Disney Plus. So I was like, oh, I'll watch this. It obviously wasn't the best Indiana Jones, I think, of the franchise. But again, kind of turn your brain off. If you're an Indiana Jones fan, at least for me, I thought it was pretty decent. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but you see the poster that's right over my shoulder. That's all I'm going to say.
Really?
But I did enjoy the film.
Interesting. Louis says that he saw it and it was entertained.
Yeah.
So I guess it. All right. So actually, Louis answered my question. Was it better than Crystal Skull? Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do agree. I do agree. I think
right.
for me, it goes Raiders, Temple, Last Crusade, Dial of Destiny, and then Crystal Skull last.
All right, as we wrap up, I didn't know that most people had Raiders above the other two. But I also didn't realize that a lot of people don't like The Last Crusade, and especially didn't realize that there are people out there who don't like Temple of Doom. I think it's all about point of entry, but I thought Temple of Doom universally was the best one. And then Raiders is like a close second because of Short Round. I thought Raiders was like I thought Last Crusade was a close second, and then Raiders was like a far third if we're talking the original trilogy. I was all wrong. There are people out there apparently who don't even like Temple of Doom. They think it's the weakest of all of them, and I'm like, what?
It's really crazy because if you look in like chronological order, like Temple of Doom is technically a prequel to Raiders.
Literally just learned that like last month.
Yeah, which is crazy. And Temple of Doom is one of the films at the time that was the reason that the PG-13 rating was put in place.
Really?
Because of some of the scenes in the movies. They're like, we can't put a PG rating on this.
Right.
But it's not quite R.
Yeah.
So it was one of the films, obviously with guy getting his heart ripped out and all that kind of stuff. So that was one of the movies that triggered the PG-13 rating. It's kind of interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's something new every day.
But all great films. There's quotable lines from all the films. I thoroughly enjoyed Last Crusade.
Same.
I thought the chemistry between between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery was awesome. But all really good films. And there's people that kind of gave Dial of Destiny a little bit of grief because of what they're calling the big swing in the third act. But when you look back at the other films, they all have kind of a big swing, so to speak, in that third act to tie things together. So again, turn your brain off, watch it, enjoy it. If you're an Indiana Jones fan, you'll probably enjoy it.
All right, I'll give it a shot. You've convinced me. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a try. Give it a try. I'll be interested to hear what you think.
So my friend Chris, who, no pun intended, Chris literally hates everything. Like he there's not a lot of movies he likes. And first of all, he was raving about Godzilla -1, and everybody I've talked to that's seen that movie says it's amazing. So I got to get to a movie theater at some point and watch it. He hates Indiana Jones because he thinks Indy is such an unlikable character because he's kind of a dick. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, he actually is kind of a jerk. Like, he's really cocky, he's arrogant, and it really comes to light when his dad is like scolding him through The Last Crusade. So I was like, you know what? If we're gonna be objective and just look at him as like a person, he is kind of an asshole.
Yeah, a little bit.
But to do that, you kind of have to be,
Yeah, and all right, I'm gonna ruin Raiders of the Lost Ark for you. And maybe some people that haven't heard this, but do you guys remember a show called Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
So one of the Sheldon, he was a big fan of Indiana Jones and was always quoting Indiana Jones stuff. His girlfriend on the show said the movie would have ended the same way whether Indiana Jones was in it or not. And I'm thinking, wait a second.
Wow.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
Yeah.
Because the Nazis still get it and they still open it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow. I was like, I did not see that coming from a sitcom.
Yeah. And it's funny, there are movies now where that is the argument usually. Is like people watch it, like reviewers on YouTube who like do the essays on them, and they're like literally the main character made no difference in the outcome of this
Right.
Wow. That is true. Because
Oh.
Damn. I wish I could get into that show. That show, this is not my phrase. Somebody else said it, and I agreed with it. Shout out to Keith. He said that he hates Big Bang Theory because it's blackface for nerds. And I was like, you know what? That is why I hate that show. Because I'm like, none of my nerdy friends, as nerdy as we are like those people on the show. Like that's a real like, extreme thing, and it always stopped me from enjoying it.
Yeah.
It always stopped me. But
Yeah.
we need a true nerdy show. We need a real.
Yeah. Like it really did kind of they're always in the comic book shop and it's always
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
and half
dude.
the time the guy that played Sheldon, he's like half the time he's like I didn't know what I was even talking about.
With the
and I had
references,
to
right?
memorize the stuff just to say it.
Dude, there's a TikTok that Anthony sent me because you did the I thought of Steve Urkel when you did that. And it is the theory, and I'm going to buy into this. I'm going to say this theory is real, that Die Hard, Family Matters, and Ghostbusters are the same universe.
I love it.
But here's the thing. Ghostbusters is first. So Carl Winslow, obviously he's in that movie. If people don't remember, he's in the scene where they all get arrested. They're in jail.
Yep.
So they're saying he's a cop. He's out there doing his thing. The events of New York are so traumatizing that he like goes kind of crazy. And the incident where he accidentally shot a kid by mistake was in New York. So he's all, I need to get a change of pace. I need to go somewhere more calm. I can't be in New York anymore. Like seeing the buildings and thinking of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, all that stuff. It's too much. I'm going to fly to LA and be a cop there. And in Ghostbusters, of course, they were talking about Twinkies, like they love Twinkies in Ghostbusters. When he's in the beginning scene of Die Hard in the gas station, he's buying a shit ton of Twinkies.
Yes.
And he's like, these are for my wife. And the guy's like, sure. As he's leaving the gas station holding the Twinkies, his left hand is in view. There's no ring. There's no ring on the finger. So they're like, oh, he made up the idea of a family for the pregnant wife who likes the Twinkies. Obviously, he gets the call to go to Nakatomi Tower, goes to Nakatomi Tower, witnesses the event of that, has to murder a man on Christmas Day in front of the thing.
Sees another rooftop get blown up.
Another rooftop getting blown up. Now he really goes crazy. Has to be admitted into an insane asylum. And in his mind, the snap is so extreme. He's like, no, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere else that's more calm. I'm going to move to Chicago. And he makes up this whole family and makes up this whole nother life, omitting the previous two moments of his life. And Family Matters is all taking place in the brain of Carl Winslow, but not an actual thing.
I love it. I'll buy into that. And
I'm
what
all
would
in.
have made it even like if the writers of that show in the last episode could have made him wake up like in a cell, like with like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man clippings and Nakatomi Tower clippings on the wall. I'd have like that would have been like awesome.
Wow. Love it.
I'll buy into that.
Oh yeah, it's my new truth.
I'll buy into that.
Yeah.
What's funny is if the scene where he's buying all those things at the convenience store,
mm-hmm.
when he walks out, look over his shoulder and you'll see what the gas prices were back then. That's the funny part.
Yeah. That's the best part about old movies. Is just like, really?
Uh-huh.
You guys are really struggling with that 59 cents, huh?
Good stuff.
As we wrap up, Patrick says, wow, this theory is as deep as Rugrats. I vaguely remember a Rugrats theory of that all being fake as well, but I can't remember. Maybe he can elaborate before we end. Louis says, almost like the Newhart finale. Is that a thing in Newhart? That it was all...
Yeah. What was the Newhart finale? There was, I don't remember what, I remember there was a surprise ending. That like there was a show called St. Elsewhere that had a surprise ending. The Newhart ending. I'll have to look that up. I do remember hearing something about it, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh, here we go. The 1990 finale of Newhart reveals that the entire series is a dream of Dr. Robert Hartley, Newhart's character on the Bob Newhart Show. The final ends with Bob Hartley waking up in Chicago, turning to his on-screen wife, Emily, Suzanne Pelchet from the Bob Newhart show, and saying, "You won't believe the dream I just had."
Oh my gosh.
I had no idea. Oh, here we go. 7 TV moments that were just a dream. Bob Newhart. Married with children?
I didn't know that.
A plot device is the most often...
I didn't know that. Was that about Roseanne?
The pregnancy thing yet? Roseanne, 8th season.
Wow.
Saint Elsewhere.
Saint Elsewhere. I knew about that one.
Did I skip a bunch?
Oh, Dallas. I remember that one. Yeah.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Man.
Which one's that?
That's Dallas. Like
That's
that
Dallas?
character in Dallas, like he was killed in a like a car crash or something, and then like 2 seasons later he shows up in the shower.
Wow. All right.
Like, and they're like, "Oh, it was just a dream," or something.
Dave says Step by Step had a similar event at the finale because Patrick Duffy was on Destiny.
I think they probably meant Dynasty, or not Dynasty, Dallas.
Oh, okay. He said Dallas. I'm corrected. Yeah. Wow. The only thing I thought of as we were looking at that was literally the only episode of, oh God, the name of that show, the guy, the doctor from Aliens that portrays her was in a sitcom with Helen Hunt.
Mad
Is
About You.
Mad About You. Yes. Mad About You. Pull that up. Make sure. Yeah, exactly. So there's an episode of Mad About You where he falls in the bathtub, knocks his head, and the entire episode is a dream sequence. And then he wakes up in the bathtub. So I seeing all those, I was thinking that's what it was.
Gotcha.
But I don't know why. For some odd reason, that one episode of that show like stuck with me.
See, if he had slipped, if he hadn't have slipped in the bathtub, if he had slipped on a toilet hanging a clock, then he would have thought of the flux capacitor.
He would have thought of the flux capacitor. Boom. There you go. I mean, if that's not a bookend to this episode, I don't know what would be. But as always, it's been a pleasure. It's always a lot of fun. And as I say to every guest, Wes, now's your time. Plug yo shit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on the show. Make sure to check us out on Etsy. Just type in Great Scott Prop Shop. You can find us on YouTube as well. Same thing, Great Scott Prop Shop. And if you want to see a little bit different kind of content with my wife and I, we have a travel and food blog on YouTube. You can look us up under Travel and Foodie Warriors. There might even be some moonshine drinking on there.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Definitely some eating.
Like I said to you last time that you were on, because Anthony's the one that brought it up first, and I was like, that's right. I forgot I was checking out your channel. The channel's dangerous. If you're trying to save money, don't look at the channel. Because all you're going to do is be like, that place is cool. That place, I thought it was cool. It's not. This other place is better. Let's go there. And you're going to spend all your money. So this is actually more dangerous than Great Scott Prop Shop.
Yes, and what's funny is if you scroll way down towards the beginning of that channel, the video is on there where I met Dan Aykroyd and had him sign the Proton Pack. There it is, right there.
You did. Look at that. I didn't scroll back far enough.
This is back like that's like back
11 years ago. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he was at a ABC Liquor signing his vodka.
That's right. He has a vodka.
I'm starstruck as hell right there. I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh my god.
I love it. You were in that awkward pose. You're like, I don't know, like,
What do I
should
do?
What, like, do I look at him? Like, it's weird if I look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Look around.
But yeah.
Don't be suspicious. He immediately went for that. He was like waiting for the camera.
And then I almost forget to ask him to sign my Proton Pack. I'm like, all right, that was great. I was like, oh yeah, can you sign my Proton Pack? He almost like slips and falls. Ah.
That's hilarious. Were you one of the only ones there in cosplay?
I think there was about 3 people that were there in full full cosplay. But oh my gosh, I don't have any gray hair there. Holy cow! But it came out pretty good.
And that was your handmade pack.
Yes, that's this one back here that's sitting behind me. That's the handmade one. Yep.
That's awesome.
That's pre 3D printers. That's that guy right over my shoulder there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
I
next
need
time
to do a reboot on that pack. There's a few things I need to fix on it. Might put in a little switch under the ion arm from Afterlife. So there's a few little repairs I need to make on it.
I think that video of you just walking through the Proton Pack would be a good one, followed by the updates.
Okay.
I think that'd be sick.
Yeah, I'll definitely do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time coming. My spirit life size is probably going to be my kind of mutt that has a lot of different things on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to probably keep this one more, my hand built one, probably more Ghostbusters 1, maybe some Ghostbusters 2 stuff on there.
Yeah.
But it's old, it's tired, and it needs a little bit of a refresh.
I love that. Apparently I say this every week. I just thought about that. As I was about to say it, I was like, I say this every episode. Last thing. Can you explain this mod to me? This is the only mod I've not understood.
Sure. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that one is actually I can find it here. I got this guy right.
Oh, so let me switch your screen here.
So this one here, let me see if I can get it. If you can see it, okay.
Uh-huh.
So that's this guy right here, and essentially it just pops off. It's hollow, and it just goes over this one as a cover. It's not quite as big as it should be. So you've got the end on here. I don't know if my camera will focus on it here.
Well, I can always jump back to the
there we go.
screen. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So that's the Afterlife version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other version, the flat version, would be more like what you would see in like Ghostbusters 1 or 2. And it's just a really quick slip-on mod. It fits on there so tight that you really don't probably even need to put glue on it.
Interesting. Okay. Because I saw it and I was like, wait, which one is which movie, and why is that a mod? But that makes sense that it's just larger on the actual pack. So
right. And I guess, and I didn't know this until recently, and I should have known it, but the base of it is square, and I didn't know if that's how I guess it is on the hero packs. You can actually see the outline square on the bottom of it. So we incorporated that into the actual piece that slides over it. And you're right. I probably should put something on the pictures that say Afterlife and Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Because I don't think I have it on there. Yeah. There we go. Yep.
sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. No, yeah, that all makes sense. And I guess, yeah, that would be good a thumbnail just to be like, which one is which? Because I just had no idea. But it may not be an issue because apparently there's only one left and there's 8 people that have it in, in their cart. So it's a popular mod. It's a popular seller.
Yeah.
I love that. Louis says that someone asked the guy with the pack where he bought it, and Dan answered the question saying that was not bought. he built it. And that's
Yes.
to his comment earlier that Dan Aykroyd loves proton packs, especially ones people
Yep.
build.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, he was a nice guy, and he says he usually signs them all in in the same place, which is like right on top of the cyclotron area up there. And when I met Ernie Hudson, Ernie saw it and he says, he's like, Danny always gets the good place to sign it, so he signed underneath it.
That's hilarious. Ernie just gives me the vibes of like, I'm just happy to be here. Like, not in a negative way. Like, there's some people in franchises that just embrace who they are, and there's other ones that it's like a chore, or they
Yes.
don't want to deal with fans sometimes. But every time I
Yes.
see Ernie on screen, and from all the stories I've heard, he's just happy to be here. If Ghostbusters was his only success, he'd be good with it.
Yes, Ernie was a genuinely nice guy when I met him. Luckily, when I met him, there was not a big crowd of people that was there. There were a few people, but I had nobody in line behind me. It was kind of in a weird time of the day. And I got to talk with him for quite a while. And back then, there was no, Ghostbusters Afterlife was not even a thought in anybody's eye. And I remember asking him, I said, I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but is there any chance for Ghostbusters 3? And he says, well, if they're going to do one, I haven't heard about it yet. But that was probably back in 2011 sometime, 2012 maybe.
Yeah.
But super nice guy to talk with.
Yeah, I bet. It's just that there's some people in franchises that are just like, I embrace the role and I acknowledge what it's done for people. There's others that are just like, I'm tired of talking about this. I'm tired of being associated with it, whatever. And R.I.P., but Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, I remember when I went to go see him, it was literally the year that he passed, but he was randomly going to be in my town. I was like, might as well. There's probably nobody going to be there. I go, sure enough, there's a line. And I remember this guy walks out who was one of the first ones there. I'm waiting outside the GameStop. He walks out, and it was this guy, this gentleman who had special needs, and he was like damn near about to cry. And he's telling his I guess it was his brother or his cousin or somebody family, who's like helping him. And he's like, all right, we have to go. We have to get the bus. We have to do whatever. He's like, dude, I talked to him, and he talked to me back, and he asked me a question. And I was like, wow. I was like, maybe he cares about everybody who goes to see him. And then when I went in there, and there were people in line who had things, and they were like, all right, I have just this one like picture. And he's like, great, signs it. He's like, what else do you have? And they're like, oh, I didn't have enough money to get other things signed. All right, go get me a picture. Go get me like telling his assistant, like, get me 2 more pictures to sign for this guy. Like, just he's just happy to be there.
Yeah,
and those celebrities are few and far between.
Yeah, really love to see that. I was at a convention. I know you're trying to wrap up here, but I was at a convention, a Walking Dead convention, and almost the entire cast was there, and they were just kind of walking around. We had gotten in line to meet Kari Payton. He played Ezekiel, and there's this lady that had several pieces of artwork of him from the show, and she only had paid for one to get signed because it's like
expensive.
$80 a signature, something like that. And he says, would you like to have those signed as well? And she's like, oh, I didn't pay for that. And he's like, would you like to have them signed? And she's like, I would love it. He's like, I got you. And he signed all of them for it. And it's just like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it really makes you happy to support the show there. And when you see celebrities like that interacting with their fans.
That's why I'll soapbox it, even though, as you mentioned, I'm trying to wrap it up, but we go on tangents sometimes. The video that got us demonetized on YouTube was I shared when Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon, when he rejected a photograph with a kid.
Right.
And I was like, you can't do that. Like, and people were like, well, maybe he was just too drunk. He was at the football game. He also had like a vape in his hand. And I was like, I get all that, but especially if you're doing a show that's like towards kids. And then even like the highest priority on that list, if you are a person of color and another child comes up to you who is a person of color, you know that already there's not a lot of examples of you on screen. So even at your drunkest, like pull it together, acknowledge that that's the role you signed up for.
Yep.
Just take the picture. Just do
Absolutely.
it. It don't
Absolutely.
hurt. It don't hurt. But
yeah,
some and that's why the people like JDF, like Ernie, like the guy that played Ezekiel, like that's why those people stand out so much, because you've seen the others.
Yep.
It makes a difference.
Yes, it absolutely does. But I can say most of the cast of Walking Dead, with exception of a few, I won't name names, but they were all very, very friendly and wanted to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. But then I will other side of the coin for a second. Sometimes if you just go into the comments of a celebrity who plays an actor or an actress in a show and you see the things that people say, you can understand why sometimes people get jaded.
Oh,
It does make sense.
I'm sure I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. But brother, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor.
Yes, sir.
Cannot wait for part 3. Maybe part 3 is when the movie comes out. We do another one because
that would be awesome. Yeah.
We'll have the uniforms full on, seeing what the packs look like.
Yep.
All that fun stuff.
I like it. So I've got to find one of those. I got to find one of those red jackets now that they're all sold out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want the real one, it'll cost you a couple grand.
Yeah.
People are, and again, like we said earlier, I keep saying "and again." That I got to get rid of that phrase. But doing Ghostbusters cosplay is all about doing what makes you happy. So, to all of you out there, if there's a red coat, blue coat, black coat, you want to make that your Ghostbusters coat, just make it. Just make it.
Make it you.
Make it you. Last plug as we wrap up. Anthony, myself, Steve, because we've been talking so much Ghostbusters lately, we've made a separate Instagram page. So if some of you are enjoying the Ghostbusters content, you're liking the posts, the stories, all that fun stuff, the Nerdbusters have moved on. They've grown up. We at Nerd Affiliated are now empty nesters. And the Nerdbusters group has its own Instagram page, The Real Nerdbusters, because apparently Nerdbusters already exists. I don't know who those losers are. But The Real Nerdbusters over on Instagram. So head over there. Give us a follow if you're enjoying the Ghostbusters cosplay. All the mods, the packs, the news, all that stuff mainly will be there. There'll be some cross promotion with, of course, the main Nerd Affiliated page. But we figured we've been enjoying it, talking about it a lot, especially with the Haslab stuff. So for the sake of the algorithm, and for those who may not enjoy Ghostbusters as much, we're moving a lot of the Ghostbusters stuff onto the Real Nerdbusters Instagram page. So give us a follow there. Link is down in the description. But again, make sure you follow Wes over there at Great Scott Prop Shop. But more importantly, you got to follow their main page, him and Melissa's, the Foodie Warriors. That's where the real work happens.
If you watch from the beginning, you'll see my weight increase. So.
But you also see where Melissa takes over and organizes the video flows and all that stuff. So there you go.
I couldn't do it without her.
Actually, he's not lying, because I remember when he first came out with the Power Cell cover, he was like, I need Melissa to do her magic first with the Etsy post before I actually post it. She did. It looked great. So shout out to Melissa. Shout out to all of you as well for being here with us. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. Every Monday morning, Nerdy Coffee, 9 a.m.-ish here on Nerd Affiliated. 2 different shows, 2 different vibes. Either way, you're stuck with this guy. Like, comment, subscribe, join the channel memberships, and we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. We're out of here. Yeah, the moonshine, baby.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.